Lockdowns and evacuations after threats to state capitals for the second day in a row. Take a look. State capitals face threats for the second consecutive day. And this comes after I let you know on Wednesday, January the 3rd, that there were multiple state capitals that were evacuated and locked down due to mass email threats that took place. We heard that 23 different states were hit all on the same day in a coordinated effort. Now today, state government buildings face threats for the second consecutive day. I'm going to give you the details on this. And this is very concerning, especially after the warnings received by FBI Director Wray, who warned senators that he sees blinking lights everywhere on threats against the U.S., and he warned against sleeper cells, groups that are here in the United States already planning a coordinated attack against the United States. We heard Scott say that he believed that there were sleeper cells in the United States, and also warnings coming out from former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy of the potential terrorist sleeper cells in the United States. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the latest coming out on these warnings. Luckily, none of these attacks came to fruition. However, these warnings are very alarming and concerning with everything that is currently going on. And in addition to that, we also heard yesterday the final warning coming out from the United States to Iran, who actually funds Hamas and some of the terrorist groups that they believe have sleeper cells here in the U.S. Stick around to the end for some updates on that as well. But let's go ahead and dive right in. And before we do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the updates, don't forget, smash the like button, hit subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? And if you want to stay connected outside of social media platforms, as we heard that communications could be disrupted if cyber attacks do hit, be sure to join me at www.steveramnews.com. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so first up, link in the description below to this article that came out from NBC News just a little while ago. State government buildings face threats for the second consecutive day. Now, the article says that government buildings across the South received threats on Thursday, the second consecutive day that such warnings prompted serious security measures at government facilities. In Mississippi, multiple threats at various locations across the state prompted officials to take precautionary measures and put in place standard emergency procedures, the State Department of Public Safety wrote on X. The agency said that teams had been deployed to locations throughout the state. Department spokesperson Bailey Martin said the agency was working with state and federal officials to investigate the threats. Tyree Jones, the sheriff of Hinds County, which included the state capital in Jackson, wrote on X that several local and state courthouses had received threats and been evacuated. In Arkansas, the Pulaski County Courthouse in Little Rock was also forced to evacuate after a threat was received. Spokesperson for Arkansas State Capitol Police said, multiple threats have been received across the state. Precautionary measures are being taken at all locations. Anyone with any information is asked to contact their local Crime Stopper, police of sheriff's department, or the FBI. Local media reports in Florida, Massachusetts, Maine indicated that similar threats had prompted evacuations of state and local government buildings in those states. That included a state courthouse in Dayton Beach, Florida, the 5th District Court of Appeal, as well as town and county government offices in Nantucket County in Massachusetts and several courthouses in the Portland, Maine area. Law enforcement officials in Florida, Massachusetts, and Maine didn't immediately respond to questions. The fresh wave of threats comes one day after at least 8 state capitals complexes, including ones in Mississippi and Arkansas, were forced to evacuate following threats as well. And we actually received word that there were 23 different ones that took place all at the same time on the same day. Now, in a statement, the FBI said that it is aware of numerous hoax threats sent to various government buildings and other facilities on Wednesday and Thursday, but that it had no information to indicate a specific or credible threat. The agency added that it would continue to work with our law enforcement partners to gather, share, and act upon threat information as it comes to our attention. Federal officials have warned that public servants at all levels of the government have faced a huge surge in threats in recent years. In September, Attorney General Merrick Garland testified that the government workers had seen an astounding number of such threats. In addition, several government officials have faced in just the last month an uptick of swatting, when someone makes a false report of a crime in progress to draw police to a certain location. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene said that she was a victim of swatting incidents at her home in Georgia on Christmas Day, while Senator Rick Scott said that his home in Naples, Florida, was swatted a few days later. Maine Secretary of State Shenna Bellows was the target of a swatting call on December 30th after ruling that former President Donald Trump was constitutionally ineligible to appear on the state's primary ballot next year. And again, this is all the information that we have on these threats so far. They're not exactly sure where they're coming from, although we are hearing that they believe that it is coming from another nation, causing this alarm and concern. And this is coming after we had just heard in the past couple months a lot of warnings. This one coming out December 6th as the FBI director warned that there are blinking lights everywhere of potential threats against the United States. FBI Director Christopher Wray said on Tuesday, this was back in December, that he had never seen a time during his decade-long career when so many threats against the U.S. were all as elevated as they are now, warning senators that he sees blinking lights everywhere or warning signs flashing of potential attacks. During a hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee, ranking Republican member of the committee Lindsey Graham of South Carolina asked Wray if he saw blinking red lights, referring to warning signs the U.S. missed before the attack on 9/11. "I see blinking lights everywhere I turn," Wray said. Wray also said that the Bureau is working around the clock to identify and disrupt potential attacks by individuals inspired by the Hamas attacks on October 7th. Given the steady drumbeat of calls for attacks by foreign terrorist organizations on October 7th, we're working around the clock to identify and disrupt potential attacks by those inspired by Hamas's horrific terrorist attacks in Israel. Now, I will keep you up to date as more information comes out on this, but let me know your thoughts. And this is coming as we've also heard that the United States and a coalition of 13 other nations have given Iran a warning about the attacks taking place in the Red Sea and saying this is your final warning before things might escalate even further.
Well, a U.S.-led coalition of 13 countries are issuing what is being called a final warning to the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels, vowing consequences if the terror group continues to attack ships in the Red Sea. Since the 19th of November, there's been at least 23 Houthi attacks on commercial vessels. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby spoke about this yesterday. Here's what he had to say. Watch.
As the president has made clear, the United States does not seek conflict with any nation or actor in the Middle East, nor do we want to see the war between Israel and Hamas widen in the region. But neither will we shrink from the task of defending ourselves, our interests, our partners, or the free flow of international commerce.
Let our message now be clear. We call for the immediate end of these illegal attacks and release of unlawfully detained vessels and crews. The Houthis will bear the responsibility of the consequences should they continue to threaten lives, the global economy, and free flow of commerce in the region's critical waterways.
Now, I'll be sure to keep you up to date on this. Let me know, do you think things are going to be intensifying with wars around the world? Or do you think that these are empty threats? Many people are saying that Iranian rebels have been attacking the United States and the United States' responses have been weak and that these are empty threats. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But to see the latest on that just unfolded yesterday, and I shared it with you, check it out right here next as I cover the details. But with that being said, you guys, that is the latest. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.